Everyone joining us as some people are walking in. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all of our New Jersey students. I'm super excited you guys are joining us here today. We have a few things to go through before the presentation starts. So we'll just go ahead and let you know that there are multiple sessions throughout this week and next. If you're interested, they are on the NJACAC website. And you can access all of them there. And if you were unable to attend any that you really wanted to see, the recordings will be available on the NJACAC website, again, .org/virtualfair. So just a heads up that your microphone and your camera are off for this presentation. Your presenter cannot see or hear you. Therefore, if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. They can see them there and they will address them after the presentation. But I will go ahead and pass it on.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us as we get my presentation queued up here. My name is Jake Huffner. I'm an admissions counselor from Rutgers University-Camden. I'm also a proud Rutgers Camden alumni, so I'm very happy to get to do these things. I hope that you are all staying safe and healthy and getting as much out of these virtual presentations as we navigate this interesting and new world. So I'm going to go through our presentation. I'm going to cover a bunch of different topics, including a little bit of background about Rutgers Camden and Rutgers University in general. I'll talk about the academics, some available majors, different schools and things like that. We'll also talk about the student support systems we have in place as well as campus life. And I'll also dive into the admissions process and talk a bit about financial aid as well. I do have some time. I will try and get through this as quickly as possible so that I can answer all of your questions. If you do have questions and you want to pop them into the discussion as we go through, I'll do my best to answer them as we go along. Otherwise, I will do my best to get back to everything at the end. If I don't answer your question, I promise we will get back to you within the next week once we get everything back from NJACAC. All right, so moving on, a little bit about who we are. Rutgers Camden is part of Rutgers University in general. As you probably know, Rutgers is the State University of New Jersey. We have 3 campuses. Everybody always asks what the differences are between these 3 campuses, so I like to tell people at this point in time. So Rutgers New Brunswick is obviously the oldest and largest of our 3 campuses. They have about 60,000 students across all of their programs. They're very much the old school, large scale college. It's kind of a city unto itself. Very cool place. If you ever do get a chance to go and visit it, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful campus. We also have Rutgers Newark, which is the furthest north of our 3 campuses in Rutgers. They're located just outside of New York City. They're kind of what I like to affectionately call as the mama bear size. They're about 14,000 students. They're much more of the traditional urban campus where they're spread out, the buildings are kind of spread out amongst the center of a city. Then we have Rutgers Camden. We're the furthest south. We are located just across the Ben Franklin Bridge from Center City, Philadelphia. We are the smallest of the 3. We have about 7,000 students in total across all of our programs, both undergraduate and graduate. And in my eyes, we kind of combine some of the best aspects of Rutgers New Brunswick and Rutgers Newark because we are pretty centrally located. We're just outside of a huge major city, but it's kind of that small liberal arts college feel. Everything is really kind of compact. It's all right there for the most part. You can walk from one side of campus to the other in only a couple of minutes. It's a place where you get to know people, people get to know you, you get to really make some strong connections at a state university that has a ton of research activity. We do have 3 residence halls that are available on campus. Obviously right now with COVID and everything that's going on, living on campus and residence life in general looks a little bit different for students, but we do still have some students living on campus, and hopefully in the spring or next fall, we'll get back to having a much larger or full capacity. There are 3 residence halls. As I said, we have about 800 students in usual times living on campus. We have our traditional first year residence halls, which is more of the traditional dorm, if you will. Students share a bedroom. There are 2 other bedrooms en suite, and all 3 bedrooms share a common space and a bathroom. And then we have 2 more apartment styles, which are usually reserved for upperclassmen or graduate level students. We are NCAA Division III, and we have 19 different athletic teams. NCAA Division III, as you may or may not know, does not provide athletic scholarships. However, you don't have to be recruited to be on the team. All you have to do is try out. I'll talk a little bit more about athletics when we get to campus life and things like that later on in the presentation. I see a question already. Do we have to live on campus the first year, if not for COVID? No, you do not. Our population is primarily commuter. We have a lot of students who commute from either the general Philadelphia metro area or the southern New Jersey area. So you do not have to live on campus at any time. However, it is available for you also at any time. If you attend your first year and decide later that you want to live on campus after commuting for a year or two, that's perfectly okay. We're happy to help you make that happen. Some things that we like to talk about are our achievements. I'm not going to touch on all of these, but I like to hit that second point right there on the screen that you see, the best bang for your buck by Washington Monthly. We're very proud of this. We've made this list a couple of years in a row. Washington Monthly provides a list of best bang for your buck schools that offer really high graduation rates and affordable degrees, and they kind of lump them in different areas of the country. They also include different marketability and social mobility with these degrees too. So what happens after you earn your degree? We've been ranked on this list a number of years in a row, and Harvard University, Princeton, and Yale are also on this list, and we rank not too far behind all of them. So we're very proud of making this list. We just got word that we received it this year as well too. I want to talk about these two statistics as well, because you will see them come back to haunt us later in the presentation. The first one is that 96% 6-month placement rate. So out of our alumni who responded to the survey that we sent out, 96% of them said within 6 months of graduating with their bachelor's degree, they were either enrolled in an advanced degree program, so a master's level program or something like that, or they had full-time employment. So this is a really good number. Again, this is a statistic. It is not necessarily representative of everybody, but it does speak to the fact that we try and make sure that students have the resources that they need. They have the knowledge that they need, that when they graduate, they can move on to the next step of either their career or their education. Likewise, below that, you see that $87,000 average mid-career salary. Again, out of alumni who responded to our survey, they reported about making about $87,000 on average per year at the 7-year post-graduation mark. So I don't know about you guys, this is 7 years is a little early to be mid-career in my book, but that gives you a pretty good idea of where students tend to fall. Again, this is just an average, but have it for a little bit of context for yourselves. So moving on, I want to talk about the academics, because obviously this is a school, you need to know about academics. So we have 4 different schools at Rutgers Camden that you can apply to, one of which is the College of Arts and Sciences. This is the largest of all of the schools. They encompass many different degree programs, anything with an ology on the end, such as biology, sociology, psychology, any of the humanities-based subjects, so English, music, theater, art, anything like that. It also encompasses some other science and STEM fields such as mathematics, so on and so forth. We also have our School of Nursing and our School of Business. Those two are pretty self-explanatory, all of the nursing and all of the business programs, respectively. We also have the Rutgers Law School. Fun fact, the law school was actually what was there at the beginning of our campus, so the law school was there first. The law school is the only one that does not have undergraduate programs. However, all of these that you see on screen do have advanced degree programs as well. We do also offer a bunch of dual and joint degree programs. So if you, for example, are interested in going on and pursuing a master's in business administration or an MBA, if you know that ahead of time and you're already studying in the School of Business, your junior year with us, you can apply to the Graduate School of Business, and if you're admitted into the program, you can start taking graduate level classes as an undergraduate. So your last year, as you're finishing your bachelor's degree, you're already taking graduate level classes. They count towards both degrees, and you pay the undergraduate tuition rate for that year. So instead of doing 4 years at undergrad and say 2 years at graduate school, you can cut that down by 1. You can do it all in 5. Do we have a computer science major? Yes, we do. We actually have 2 different tracks within computer science. You can have a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science degree, depending on what sort of focus you want to have. Bachelor of Arts is more of the theoretical side of things, where the Bachelor of Science is more of the nitty-gritty coding and things like that. So moving on, a school is obviously nothing without its faculty. We're very proud of our faculty at Rutgers, and we hold them to a high standard no matter what campus they're teaching on, no matter what field they are teaching in. A lot of our faculty members have achieved some really great things. One of our English professors, for example, received both the Guggenheim Fellowship and the Pulitzer Prize. So he's one of those people who's just really good at everything. But you see up on your screen that 99% of our faculty hold a terminal degree. That is not a commentary on their health or well-being in any way. It just means that they have achieved the highest degree possible in their field. And the great part about this is that because we are a small campus, because we do have a pretty small average class size, the students and faculty really get to know each other. You really get to make connections with your faculty members. You're not just a number. They take an interest in what you're doing. They will oftentimes approach you, and I can say this anecdotally as a former student myself. they will sometimes approach you and say, hey, I have this really cool opportunity that I think you might be interested in. We've had students who have worked on different projects with their faculty members. For example, one of our ambassadors in our Office of Admissions, this past year, she was working with one of her psychology professors, and she actually went to a conference and presented the work that she and her professor were working on, because her professor had to go somewhere else that week. So it was a really great opportunity for her to present at a huge conference as an undergraduate. It's such a feather in her cap on her resume. We have another one of our ambassadors in our office who received a grant to work on her project for NASA, which was really, really exciting. She was very thrilled about that. But students have an opportunity to do all kinds of different research. If there's something that you really want to study, you can propose your own major. You can work with your faculty members on your projects. They are there for you. They are there to support you. And they're also working on their own things, which you might want to jump on as well. One of our graphic design professors, for example, owns and runs a graphic design studio in Philadelphia. He often takes students as interns. I think probably 4 of his 5 full-time employees are Rutgers Camden graduates, and he is a Rutgers Camden graduate himself. So we really try to give students an opportunity, as you see here, to do things not just inside of the classroom, which speaks to that point of experiential learning. It's something that we're very big on. We've really pushed over the last couple of years. So another thing I want to talk about is student support. So we're really big on student support and making sure that students get what they need, both personally and academically. So what happened a couple of years ago is we founded an office called the Office of Student Academic Success. And even though that's a mouthful, it encompasses a bunch of different things for students to make sure, again, that they're getting what they need, both personally and academically. All of our first-year students, so anybody who is coming directly out of high school, will get matched automatically with a student success coach. This is somebody who offers individual meetings. They serve as sort of a one-on-one mentorship, a touch point for you to help you thrive as you make the transition from high school to college. They stay with you through your first couple of years. If you have any questions about anything, if you really aren't sure where to go, these are your point people. These are the people that you can go to who will point you in the right direction no matter what. We also offer the EOF program, which, as you probably know, is the Educational Opportunity Fund. It is a New Jersey-based program that offers financial and academic support for first-generation low-income college students. This comes with a scholarship. You can take some summer courses to kind of get a head start on it if you're coming in right out of high school. You also have the opportunity, if you have this funding as a transfer student, you can transfer it in with you later and you can get that support as well. We have a bunch of people in our EOF office who are there to serve you and help as advisors and just mentors and people to help you get through the program and get through your degree at Rutgers as well. We also offer a TRIO program, which is another federally funded program that is designed specifically to increase graduation and retention rates of first-generation low-income college students. So if, for example, you don't make the cutoff for the EOF, you might be offered TRIO instead, and you again have some academic and personal support systems in place for you to help you get through this transition to college, because it can be difficult for people. I know it was difficult for me. I know it's difficult for a lot of people. We also have a learning center on campus, which I think is one of our most wonderful and most underutilized resources. So this is a place that you can go if you need help with a certain subject area. If you, for example, are not so great at math like I am, you can always reach out to the Learning Center. We offer free tutoring appointments for you. You can make them right online. You can do them earlier in the day if you're somebody who gets up and is raring to go early in the morning. If you are, I envy you. If you're not and you function a little bit better after the sun goes down like I do, you can make it later in the evening. You can do it at lunchtime. Whatever works best for you. You can work with the Learning Center and with the tutors that they have available to make an appointment that is going to work for you, and they'll help you with homework. They'll help you prep for tests, things like that. Again, it's all free. It's part of your student fees, so you don't have to worry about paying for it or really arranging anything. Just go online and make an appointment. We also have an Office of Disability Services, so if you need any accommodations, if you need additional time to take a test, if you need to have an interpreter with you in the classroom, that's totally okay. You can always reach out to them. They're there to offer students access to things and making sure they have the correct accommodations, both in class and just on campus in general. So if you need anything, if you had an IEP in high school and you feel that that would help you as you make the transition to college, please by all means reach out. They are more than happy to assist you with it. Some other things that we have on campus, we do have a health and wellness center. So if you're feeling a little under the weather, or if you if you want to see a therapist or anything like that, that is open to all students. For full-time students, it is free. It is part of your student fees. Again, you don't have to pay anything additional. Just go in and make an appointment or reach out to them via phone or email and make an appointment, and they'll be happy to help you. Like I said, they're there for, some just basic health screenings and things like that. They're also able to have you meet with a therapist if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, if you're feeling anything that you feel you need to talk to somebody about, they're there and available to help you. We also have a writing and design lab that is specifically for students if you're writing a thesis paper, if you're writing your research paper for a class and you need some help editing it or just writing it in general. If you always breeze over mistakes like I sometimes do, you can reach out to the writing and design lab, and they will be more than happy to help you. Every student also has an academic advisor that stays with you throughout your tenure at Rutgers Camden. So this is a person who is somebody that makes sure you are taking the classes that you need to fulfill both your general education requirements and your degree requirements. Those of you who are ambitious in taking on a second major or a major and a minor or a couple of minors, you really want to make sure that you meet with these academic advisors because they are the gurus. They will make sure that you are meeting all of the requirements that you need to graduate and graduate on time. We usually recommend that students meet with their academic advisor at least once per semester before course registration goes up. That way, you know what you've taken, you know what you need to take next semester, and you keep yourself on track for graduation. We also have a really wonderful career center on our campus. I push everybody to meet with them as soon as possible, get in touch with them as soon as possible because they have so many wonderful resources. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an employee, I genuinely believe that. And I wish as just a former student that I had started with them earlier because it really would have helped me out and would have gotten me here a lot quicker. Anyway, so the Career Center is really great because they assist all students and they also assist alumni in your career and internship planning. So they host a job and internship fair on campus every single semester. They bring in employers from around the area who are looking for interns, looking for employees. For example, we have Campbell Soup right down the street. They take a bunch of people. We have a big population of enterprise rent-a-car facilities around here. They take a ton of our business students and they give them really great opportunities to start out their career in a really great way. They also have an online job and internship board that you can access at any time. They keep it updated. They also have career counselors there. So if you need to start a resume and have no idea where to begin, make an appointment. You can meet with them. They will help you do it. They will also help you with interview preparations. If you get out into the field as an alumni and decide, wow, I really don't like this, I think I need to make a change, you can always reach out to them too. You can make an appointment with your counselor and they will be more than happy to sit with you. So you have that resource available to you, not just from the day you start, but indefinitely afterwards too. So definitely something to take advantage of and keep in mind. What is there to do on campus? Well, obviously, right now, everything looks a little bit different, but we do have over 50 different student clubs and organizations on campus. I'm pretty sure that all of them are keeping their students engaged. They're all sticking together. They're still talking. They're still doing things. It just looks a little bit different now because most learning is remote for the fall. It is really, there's all kinds of different things that you can do on campus. We have everything from a newspaper to choir to instrumental groups. We have subject-based groups like a history club, a psychology club. We have an international students group. We have some other different cultural groups. We have Greek life. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And the great thing is, if you want to start something, it takes 10 students and a signature from a faculty or staff advisor, and you're a club. That's actually how our radio station came back a couple of years ago. It was dormant for a couple of years. Students started really pushing for it. They filled this out. They had a bunch of interest, and before we knew it, we had a ton of different people involved, and they got a new studio to record in. So things can happen. It's very easy to happen. I'm still pushing for somebody to start a curling club on campus because I really just want to try it and see what it looks like. But again, it's very easy to get something started if you want to. We're also really big on civic engagement. A lot of our students do volunteer work throughout the year. It's not a requirement, but a lot just do it because they want to. A lot of our organizations and student groups do a lot of philanthropic work, such as our fraternities and sororities. We have food drives, blood drives, things like that throughout the year. And we try and give as much back to our community as possible because Camden has struggled for many years, but we are experiencing a bit of a renaissance over the last couple of years or so. And that's really exciting for all of us because it's the place where we work, where we study, and we live, a lot of us. So it's great to give back to the community. A lot of our Courses also have a civic engagement component. So our art and urban sustainability course has actually gone out and helped clean up parks with different community groups and planted trees, and they've learned what it takes to plan that sort of thing and do it and execute it, and they've actually contributed to the community and helped clean it up, and it's been really well appreciated. So we're very happy about that, and we like our students to be active. Like I said earlier, we are NCAA Division III, so though we don't give out scholarships, you have a lot of opportunities to compete at the NCAA level if you're interested. There are a bunch of different sports, including tennis, baseball, softball, men's and women's soccer, volleyball, trying to think of all of them off the top of my head, cross country, track and field, things like that. So you have an opportunity to play and compete. If you want to try something new, you're more than welcome to do that. Don't think just because you played soccer your entire life that that's the only thing you're able to do. We had a championship soccer goalie a couple of years ago. He was like an NCAA division champ when the team was really, really doing well. And he decided in his senior year that he wanted to throw javelin. And he went out and he rocked it. He just picked it up and really did well with it. He, in fact, actually tried out for the U.S. Olympic team a couple of years ago, too. So we were really excited when that happened because he just came out of nowhere and did that. And he had the opportunity because it was Division III. He was able to just talk to the coach and pick it up and go. We also have a lot of events on campus for our students who are living in the residence halls. So just because you are living there doesn't mean that you're not going to have anything to do on the nights and weekends. Your RAs and the residence life staff coordinate a bunch of different events throughout the year. We also have a bunch of on-campus events, again, when it's safe to do so. We have a big bash in the spring. Actually, this picture is from that event a couple of years ago because I remember being around when they were posing for this picture. Bring, an ice cream truck or food trucks to campus. They bring a bounce castle and things like that. So we all get to kind of cool off after finals and just relax and enjoy some beautiful spring weather and some time outside in the quad with friends. We are also very close to Center City, Philadelphia. Actually, that picture on screen that you see is the Patco high-speed line, which takes you from about a block and a half off our campus right into Center City. It's about not even a 10-minute train ride. It's usually very cheap. It's quick. I've personally walked from campus, gotten on the train, gone into the city, picked up tickets, and been back on campus in less than 45 minutes, so less than the time that we have for this presentation. You also enjoy really easy access to the Camden waterfront, which has a number of ways to get across the river as well. We have a big concert venue down there, the Battleship, New Jersey, the Camden Aquarium, which is really cool. And as a student at Rutgers, you get discounted tickets to a lot of these things, including concerts at the BB&T Pavilion. So pro tip, if you come here and you do not work in the campus center yourself, make friends with a person who works in the Impact booth because they'll tell you about all the discounted tickets and all the cool trips that are coming up. We also have really good public transit access to Southern New Jersey via the Patco, Philadelphia also via Patco, and you can also get to Atlantic City, New York City, or Washington, D.C. using New Jersey Transit. There's another train called the New Jersey Transit River Line that takes you directly from our campus all the way up the Delaware River corridor to the Trenton Transit Center, where you can hop the train right to New York City, getting over into Philly to go down to Washington, D.C., or go somewhere else from 30th Street Station is also very easy. Students can have cars on campus, even if they're living in the dorms. Again, most of our students do commute, so you can have a car on campus, but you don't necessarily have to. If you do take public transportation, whether you're commuting or you're just living on campus and getting around that way, save your receipts because we do have a rebate program through our technology store. So you can get up to $50 back per month in the form of a gift card, but you can get up to $50 back to put towards something later. So if you blow through headphones like I do, or you lose your AirPods all the time, you can put that money towards it. So now we get to talk about admissions. So this is the part where most people are probably going to start to have questions. So again, please put them in there. I will try and address them as we go, or I will address them at the end of the session. So for my first year students, we need you to do a couple of things. I'm going to start out with a little bit of bad news, and is that Rutgers University does not accept the common application. However, we do have our own application in which you can apply to all 3 different campuses and multiple programs across all of those campuses. We also do accept the coalition application. So if you are doing coalition for another school, we're more than happy to accept that too. First year students need to do a couple of things. In addition to filling out the online admissions application, we need you to put in what we call a self-reported academic record. This is where you input your grades and your coursework from high school. Instead of sending us a transcript, you just put it in online. Full disclosure, it does take a little bit of time. I would recommend having an unofficial transcript from your guidance counselor right there in front of you, but you can put it in. If you're doing anything, if you're doing a self-reported academic record for another school, or another school is requesting that or says you can send it, you can do all the same thing. You can just put it all in once and send it to multiple places afterwards. We are going test optional for the fall in light of the COVID-19 pandemic because students have not been able to sit for SAT or ACT exams since March. If you have taken the SAT or ACT previously, or you plan to do so, you are welcome to submit those scores, but you do not have to. It is not a requirement anymore. You are required, however, to write an essay. If you have written an essay for a Common App school, if you've written it for another school, more than likely you can use that here. Most of the prompts tend to align pretty closely. You can also just answer one of the prompts that we have. There are several, I think you can pick from up to 5 that are on there, so pick one and answer it. You are also welcome to write about whatever you like. If you had a really great experience volunteering for an animal shelter, for example, that's a great thing to write about for your college essay. If you've written an essay for your English class or something like that, you can also use that here. If you had, say, a terrible sophomore year of high school like I did, and you want to write about that in your essay, you are more than welcome to do that as well. The essay doesn't necessarily make or break a decision for us. However, it does help add a lot of context and color to an application because unfortunately, we don't get to sit with every student and interview them and talk about everything. I wish that we could, but it's just not realistic. It would be a super high volume for us. You guys don't have the time to meet with all the colleges that you have. If you have to do 1 or 2, you know that that can be stressful in and of itself. So please utilize the essay to the best of your ability. If you are reusing an essay from another school, just do me a favor and proofread it. Make sure that if you mention the name of the school, you change it or eliminate it, because nothing drives me crazier than reading a brilliant essay and seeing another school's name mentioned at the end. I probably love that school too, because they're great, but just make sure you edit it. That's me going mom on you. There is a $70 application fee that we ask for. You can have that waived a number of ways. If you have a waiver through NJACAC, or College Board, you are welcome to submit those. We will waive the fee for you. We will accept those waivers. If you are applying as part of the EOF program, if you check that box that says you wish to be considered, we will automatically waive the fee for you. If you qualify for free or reduced lunch at your high school, there's a box on the application that you can check, and that will also waive the fee for you. If you don't have any of those things and you do feel that paying the $70 would be a hardship for you, you can always reach out to us. We're happy to provide you with more information on how you can have the fee waived or request to have the fee waived. You'll also see on the application that there is a section about extracurricular activities. Again, like the essay, this does not necessarily make or break your application. It doesn't necessarily factor into your admissions decision because that's based mostly on your academic history, but it does help us to have a little bit of color and context. And as you move through the enrollment process, it may spike something with one of the advisors who says, oh, I see you were involved in, say, student government or something like that. I know they're looking for people. They're going to hold elections next month. Maybe you'd be interested. Here's the person you can contact. So it really helps us out, and it can help you out too, because as we see time and time again, the students who get the most out of their education here are the ones who are involved. So tell us what you're involved in, and we will help you continue to stay involved. My transfer students, if you do transfer, your process looks a little bit different. You can still do either the coalition application or the Rutgers online application. Most transfer students just do the Rutgers one. Good news is the essay is optional for you, though I still do recommend that you write one. Application fee, same thing applies. If you're part of EOF, if you have a fee waiver, you can submit those. If you're part of EOF, you can check the box. It will automatically waive the fee. If you're current active duty military or former military, you can also check that box on there. That will also waive the fee for you. We also request that you send in all transcripts from every college and university you've attended. So if you went to, say, Camden County College first, and then maybe went to Rowan University, and now you're trying to transfer back to us, that's totally fine. We just need to have both of those transcripts, even if you transferred your credits to the other school. So just something to be aware of, we do need to have all of them. Admissions deadlines. So my first year students, early action deadline is November 1st. If you have your application in and complete by November 1st, you will have a decision in your hands by the end of January, guaranteed. The regular action deadline is December 1st. Same deal with the other one. You will have your decision in your hands by the end of February. We do rolling admission at Rutgers. So especially for first year students, these are not hard and fast deadlines. If you do not meet them, do not panic. You still have an opportunity to apply. Most of our programs, continue to accept applications throughout the spring and even into the summer in some cases. We do recommend that you try and at least meet the regular action deadline, if for no other reason than you get everything back as soon as possible. You'll get your decision back probably before the end of February. You'll get your financial aid package if you're applying for financial aid not long after that. And you'll have everything you need from us in front of you to help make the most informed and educated decision for the next step of your educational career. My transfer students, your deadlines look a little bit different. If you are applying for the spring semester, we usually recommend October 1st. Again, most programs, with the exception of the transfer nursing programs, will do rolling admission. So if you didn't meet that and you're looking to apply for the spring, don't worry, you still have time. For fall admission, we are looking for February 1st. You'll get your decision back by mid-April. I have a question about the transfer process between Rutgers campuses. So you can transfer from one campus to another. We just have you do what we call a school-to-school application. So for example, you started at Rutgers Camden and wanted to say transfer to the School of Engineering at Rutgers, New Brunswick. You can do that. You would just have to fill out the school-to-school transfer application. Keep in mind, however, that unless there is a specific program such as pre-engineering that is designed to have you complete your prerequisite courses or your general education courses and then transfer to the School of Engineering in New Brunswick, you have to be careful to make sure that you are not going to get set back when you do that, because Rutgers Newark, Rutgers Camden, Rutgers New Brunswick do have different programs. We have different degree programs. We might have a BA, whereas New Brunswick offers a BS in a certain subject area. So just make sure you're conferring with your advisor. If that is your intent to do that, that is okay. We're more than happy to help make that happen. I recommend, again, speaking with your academic advisor, conferring with them and making sure that you know what the transfer process is going to look like, what your transfer credits, what you need to have done before you transfer. So I want to talk about financial aid because we're getting close to the end of this, and I'm sure other people are going to have questions, probably mostly about this. So the main way for students to apply for financial aid is through the FAFSA, which is something I'm sure you've all heard before. It's the free application for federal student aid. It's just FAFSA.gov. You can go right on. If you already have an account, you can do it. If you are applying for financial aid from multiple schools using the FAFSA, that's great. You only have to do it once and just put the schools in using these codes. There is one FAFSA code for all of Rutgers. You see it right there up on screen. If you go to do the FAFSA and it comes up with a New Brunswick or Piscataway address, that is okay. As long as one Rutgers campus receives it, we'll all be able to receive it. FAFSA does use prior year taxes. So for those of you who are, say, applying for fall of 2021, they're going to be looking at 2019 tax information. As we all know, a lot of things can change in a very, very short time. If you feel that that information, or you're working with mom and dad or whoever on doing your FAFSA, if you feel that information is not reflective of the current situation, please reach out to our Office of Financial Aid. They will be more than happy to assist you. We do have a form for just these certain instances, to make sure that they are utilizing the most up-to-date and relevant information to you and your situation. We have a bunch of different things that are available funding-wise, including some loans and grants. Starting with the federal government, a lot of our students qualify for the federal Pell Grant, which is very good because it's a nice chunk of change that you're able to carry with you. We also have a lot of funding available through HESA, through the state of New Jersey. So if you're a New Jersey resident especially, make sure you're doing that too, because there's some extra funding that you can get through HESA. If you have to take loans, we recommend that you do it in this order. Start with the federal government if they're available to you, and then go state, go private if you have to, only because the interest rate does go up with each one. A lot of our students will qualify for either subsidized or unsubsidized loans through the federal government, which is for students who have financial need and those who do not, respectively. We also accept other organizational grants and scholarships. So if you have anything through, say, a local VFW or something through your high school that you're able to get, just provide us with the paperwork. We'll help make that happen. We do have a lot of gift aid too, which is free money. So who doesn't like free money, right? That includes merit-based scholarships. So these are academic scholarships. You do not have to apply for them. You don't even have to do the FAFSA. So if you're not doing the FAFSA for some reason, that's cool. You'll still be reviewed for a merit-based scholarship. So these are based purely upon the academic information that you provide. For my high school students who are applying as first years, we're looking at your self-reported academic record, or your test scores and or your test scores if you're submitting them, things like that. My transfer students were looking at your transcripts, GPA, grades, so on and so forth. We also have some need-based programs, including our Bridging the Gap program. There's also the Rutgers Tuition Aid Grant, the New Jersey Tuition Aid Grant, a bunch of different things that students can get that way. We have some post-admission scholarships, so if you end up being a part of, say, the Civic Scholars Program where you're doing a bunch of community service, that program comes with a small scholarship. So it's a small stipend that you can put towards your tuition. You might get something from, say, the School of Nursing too, for just being an exceptional student. You might get your merit scholarship and the School of Nursing might say, hey, here's another $500 per year that you're gonna get and we can apply to it. Our international students also get the International Chancellor Scholarship, which is a merit-based scholarship of up to $15,000 per year for international students. So if you are from outside of the country or you're not a permanent US resident or anything like that, you might still qualify for this funding too, which helps bring down the cost because a lot of the times international students are also charged out-of-state tuition because they're not necessarily New Jersey residents. So talk about spending your money on campus. Here's some ways to earn money on campus. We do offer federal work study here through Rutgers Camden. This is a federally based program that is run through the FAFSA. You don't have to do anything additional to apply for it. This gives you the opportunity to work on campus. A lot of students end up doing work in a field or their specific department. So bio students end up being lab assistants. We put our theater students to work prepping for shows, hanging lights, etc. You also have some opportunities if you don't qualify for federal work study to work on campus, including the fitness center, which I did for 4 years, which was great and very flexible, Starbucks in our dining hall, the impact booth in the campus center, and a couple of other places on campus as well. So you have options not just to spend your money or take out loans, but you also get a chance to earn something back, which we highly recommend because you can work and study and possibly live all in the same place, cut your commuting costs down significantly. I want to talk about our Bridging the Gap program because this is something we're very proud of and there are always a lot of questions about this. So Bridging the Gap is not necessarily admissions-based, it is purely a financial aid-based program. This is for New Jersey residents. So you must be a New Jersey resident, you must be a US citizen or legal permanent resident to qualify for this. You must also complete your Rutgers Camden application and the FAFSA in order to be reviewed for this funding. So you have to meet all of those things. In addition to that, you have to meet the adjusted gross income limits that you see up on screen here. So when you do your FAFSA, one of the questions they ask everybody is your adjusted gross income, how much money your family makes in a year. If that number is under $100,000, what will happen is Rutgers will step in and cover any or some or all of the difference between what you're offered as far as federal and state aid and your merit-based scholarships from Rutgers and what your tuition and fees cost. So in a theoretical scenario here, if you were offered, say, $5,000 by the federal government and another $2,000 from Rutgers, that's great. That's about half of your tuition and fees paid for. If, for example, your adjusted gross income is less than $60,000, Rutgers would cover 100% of the difference between that $7,000 that you were offered and the total cost of your tuition and fees. If you fall between $60,000 and $80,000, we cover 75% of that difference. Between $80,000 and $100,000, we cover 50% of that difference. This is renewable for 4 years as a first-year student. You just have to complete 30 credits per year, maintain good academic standing, and maintain your eligibility through the FAFSA and your residency. This is also available for transfer students. So if you go to Camden County College first, it works basically the same way. The only difference is that you can only have it for 2 years as a full-time student or 8 semesters as a part-time student. There is another program that works basically the same way. It's just called something different called Road to Success. Again, works the same way for our transfer students. So if you go to another community college in New Jersey, you can get this funding as well. Again, the only caveat with that is that you must also earn your associate's degree. The big caveat with Bridging the Gap is that it does not cover housing and a meal plan. So if you are planning to commute, great. If you're planning to live on campus, those costs would be up to you. I suspect somebody will probably have a question about this, so please feel free to ask me at the end. But I want to get here because we're almost at the end. You see, my friends, these statistics came back to haunt us like I said they would later. But one of the things I want to talk about to just kind of sum this up is that Rutgers Camden really is, it's a great place to study. It's a great place to live, to work. I love it there. I've been working there for a number of years. I was there as a student for 4 years, and I really just love the feel of this campus. But one of the cool things that you can do is tell somebody that you attended a Rutgers information session. Watch what happens, because I guarantee you, no matter who it is, no matter where they're from, they will find some connection to this school. It's usually something ridiculous, like, oh, my daughter is going to Cook College and she's studying squirrel biology, or, oh, I graduated from there in 1875 or something like that. But no matter where you go, no matter who you're talking to, I guarantee you that you're going to find somebody who is a Rutgers alumni. And that's really great, because no matter what field you go into, no matter where you go after this, if you go on to California and go to Stanford or something like that, or if you just go out into the field, tell somebody that you studied at Rutgers and you're going to spark a connection. It's just this weird, magical thing that we just tend to find one another. There's a network of over 500,000 alumni worldwide. I think that number is a little conservative myself, but you're a part of this community no matter where you go or what you do afterwards. You can take advantage of discounts on auto insurance, discounted trips, and things like that. I'm still mad I didn't take my chance to get the discounted tickets to the Philly Pops when Leslie Odom Jr. sang with them a couple of years ago, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you will always be a part of the Rutgers community, and we're very happy to have you. We would be very happy to have you, and hope that you're able to join us. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I saw a couple of questions that I think I answered earlier, but if anybody has any others, please feel free to put them in the question and answer section below, and I will be more than happy to address them for you. So I see a question about the tuitions, the tuition and fees. For a full-time student who is a New Jersey resident, you're looking at just over $15,000 per year. If you don't live in New Jersey, you're looking at about $30,000 per year. That does not include housing and meal plans. Those can vary a little bit, so we don't quote them as much, but figure if you're going to live on campus, you're probably looking at another $12,000 per year or so. So again, New Jersey resident who is a full-time student, you're looking at about $15,000 per year. Is there a chance on-campus tours could be happening? At this moment, no. Unfortunately, we are not doing any on-campus events. That has been kind of a university-wide mandate that we are canceling all in-person events through the end of the year. With any luck, we are going to be able to renew doing them come spring. Hopefully, it might take a little bit after the flu season's got to die down and things like that. We're hoping that. Don't quote me on it, but we'll see what comes with the new year. We do have a virtual tour available online that is narrated by our wonderful Raptor ambassadors. So if you're looking to do that, or if you want to come and just kind of check out the campus yourself, you're more than welcome to. We are also offering some in-person appointments on Fridays throughout the rest of this semester. So if you would like to come in and meet with an admissions counselor, we can do that. Though we won't be able to provide you with a tour, you could at least come to campus, see it. We can give you a map and kind of direct you around, and we can also answer some questions too. I see a question about the School of Business in Camden differing from business classes taken at New Brunswick. I am really not able to speak about what New Brunswick offers, but I can tell you that the School of Business in Camden offers 5 different majors: marketing, management, accounting, finance, and there's always one that I never remember off the top of my head, so excuse me for that. They have a really great program. It's been very strong for a number of years. It's a well-accredited program. It's well-respected in the area. A lot of our graduates go on to get their MBA or work out in the field very easily. We have a lot of people who have gone on to work for different businesses and firms in the Philadelphia area. Again, I can't really speak about the New Brunswick one because I'm not familiar with it. I can really only talk about Camden. I will say that the programs are different, so kind of explore a little bit of both of them. If you can, attend an info session for the School of Business in New Brunswick, or just New Brunswick in general, and see what they kind of have to offer and maybe get a feel for it. One might fit your goals or your personal style a little bit better. I always encourage students, check out all 3 because you really do get a different feel from each campus. I see one other question about political science being different from the law school. Yes, it is. So like I said earlier, the law school is the only one that is graduate level only. Political science is available at the undergraduate level. Political science is more the study of politics and that sort of thing. Law school is actual practice of the law. Law school gets you the Juris Doctorate degree. It prepares you to be able to go into the courts, practice law, things like that. A lot of our political science students will go on to law school. Law school also pulls students from all other different majors. I know several theater majors who have gone on to law school and had really great success with it. So you don't necessarily need to study politics to go into law school. Sometimes it might actually benefit you not to. Do I need to apply for Rutgers, New Brunswick, Camden, and Newark separately? You do not. If you're going to apply to all three, I highly recommend that you do the Rutgers online application because you can select a program or two from each different campus on the same application. You submit it once, you pay the fee once, you do the essay once, you're done. And any additional credentials that you send in, you only have to do once. So if you're sending in, say, the self-reported academic record, send it all in once. I think I got everybody.
Perfect. Well, that is perfect timing. Since we are wrapping up here, just a few last minute things before we end out this panel. So there will be a quick survey once this webinar is closed. So just quick 4 questions, and that would be great if you could do that. You can also sign up for more sessions at njacac.org/virtual fair. We would love to see you guys again. Again, if your question did not get hit, you will get followed up with within a week when those results come out, as well as the recording of this session will be available at our NJACAC website as well. Thank you guys again, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.